kept him long enough. Here, let me just get rid of that comment there from Martin. Here is Terry from Claude The Banstas. Terry, how are you doing, buddy?
Hello, mate. How you doing? Thanks again for inviting me on. Really looking forward to this. Hello, Chris, Ross, and Alan. Hope you're all well. And happy birthday to Ross. Your wife, is it, Lucy?
Oh, yep. Thanks, mate. That's very nice of you.
No problem.
Is a top bloke, Terry. Terry, thank you for coming on the channel. For those who are watching who for some reason don't know about Claude and the Banstas, all the links to Terry's Twitter account and to the YouTube channel are in the description below. But how's the channel going quickly before we get into the Arsenal game, Terry?
Yeah, it's going brilliant. I mean, Claude, unfortunately, since Christmas has not been very well with a bad cough and that. So he hasn't been with us for about a month. Just had no energy and things like that. Me and Diesel's been keeping it going at the moment, but Claude's back now. So we've got the three musketeers back together.
Stooges.
Yeah, the three Stooges. I don't know. Just a quick finny. Obviously, Diesel is as an ardent Arteta out. He didn't want Arteta to start off with. Claude is more or less the same, and I'm Arteta in. So we get a good sort of we cover a broad sort of area over Arsenal. You know what I mean? You get every aspect.
Yeah, I bet that's led to some heated debates on it.
Oh, honestly, I mean, if you haven't seen this, honestly, please come over and give us a watch. Yeah, I mean, it does get very heated, especially with me, Claude, and Diesel. Like I said, I fight my corner. It's like 2 against 1, unfortunately. And even with the people in the chat, it's more over to Arteta out than what it is Arteta in. So it's quite hard sometimes to fight the battle all the time, but I'm still there. I'm still there, Andy.
Hey, listen, you stick to your opinions, mate. That's what it's all about. And you stick to your battle. But anyway, what we're going to do now is while we've got Terry on, we've got Terry on for sort of half an hour or so, and we're going to do a preview for the Arsenal game. Normally we do these if the game's on a Saturday, but because we've got Terry on and the game's on Sunday, we said let's get it done tonight while Terry kindly gave us his time. So I'm going to come to you first, Terry, and what are your thoughts on Arsenal's season so far? You might want to include some thoughts on Arteta or your players in particular, but where are you right now as Arsenal Football Club?
Well, as you know, Andy, I'm a big believer in Arteta. I wanted him. I wanted Arteta to come in when we lost at Baku, embarrassingly to Chelsea that night. I don't know how some of our fans still wanted him. I wanted Arteta to come to us then, and I was so grateful that he did. Look, with Arsenal fans, you know what I mean, some of them want instant success. I mean, we haven't had success really, let's be honest, for the last 16 years. You know, we haven't really been competing for the Premiership, even in the Champions League, things like that. We've been slowly, steadily going backwards for 16 years in my eyes. And, you know, so there was going to be a transition period. When Arteta come in, obviously, you know, I know a lot of Arsenal fans were only saying it's 1 trophy, but he's won 2 trophies, do you know what I mean, with the Charity Shield and things like that. For an unexperienced manager coming in the first 6 months, I thought he'd done fantastic, especially with the squad that we had, the team that we had moving forward. This season, I wasn't really expecting too much because for me, what I wanted was to get rid of this culture that we had got at Arsenal. I wanted some of these players to move out. I did not think that was going to happen until the end of the season. But for me, it's come 6 months earlier. Getting Ozil off our books, getting Mustafi, Socrates, Kosniak, and a few other players off of our books. I mean, all that's doing is setting us up for next season, in my eyes, Andy. I mean, look, you know, as an Arsenal fan, obviously, I want Arsenal to finish as high as we possibly can and go as far as we can in Europa League. But I said it from the start when Arteta come in. You know, I thought it was going to take him 2 or 3 years to get this team sorted out, to get rid of that culture that's been there for 16 years, get rid of these Wenger players that have been there for God knows how many years, even some of the players that Emery brought in. You know, so I already knew that there was going to be a transition period. I already set myself up for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You will get some Arsenal fans that say, well, we're the Arsenal. You know, we should be challenging for top 4. We should be up there. That's why we moved to the Emirates, and I totally understand that. But you know, I was watching, funny enough, last night, the boys. I was watching last night the charity, not the Carabao Cup game, the final that you beat us 3-0. I was watching the highlights of that, and I think that was 2017. And just watching it, seeing how many players that were still here at the beginning of the season from that season, it's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows you how hard it was for Arsenal to get rid of these players and the transition period that was going to happen. So for me, look, I'm not happy where we are. Do you know what I mean? It's not a catastrophe for me. I still think there's enough games this season that we can still get up there as high as we possibly can and hopefully push in the Europa League. But I personally think that Arteta's doing a great job. We're not conceding as many shots on goal as we did under Emery. We're actually harder to beat in my eyes. Most of the games recently, they've been really good. Players are coming on like Saka and Smith Rowe and Martinelli. Pepe is even coming on a bit now. Xhaka looks a different player under Partey. Not that I'm saying I want him to stay, boys, but you know, it's slowly coming together. And I think hopefully next season, once we ship out a few more players, you know, we've got rid of about 6 players, I think, in this transfer window. We saved £770,000 a week on wages. So, you know, that's going to give us some money to go out and actually buy players that we're actually going to need that will help us push us forwards under Arteta, I think, Andy.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is any guys, Chris, Ross or Alan, have you got any thoughts on Arsenal as it stands at the moment and where you think they are with Arteta as their manager? Ross, you shaking your head. I'll remove some of us, and you can.
Yeah, well, all right, mate. Everyone's gone. It just looks like it's us. Bit of a takeover. Mate, one of my best mates over here is a Gooner, so we have a lot of chats about Arsenal. I think one thing we were actually speaking about this week was Arteta's gone in there and he's sort of started from the back. I think personally a bit questionable. I think you might have got rid of a good keeper there who was one to hold on to, but I understand why the lad wanted to go. But I think it's really interesting to see you've got some really good youth coming through. And I think you need to do well as a club. I always have a joke with him because since we got a bit of cash, like at one point you became a bit of a feeder club for us, and we seem to always go to Arsenal and grab a few players decent who pretty much all of them have done pretty well when they came to City. So I think there's a couple of lads now who probably from a Pep point of view, Pep would like, you know, your Saka and stuff like that, like decent young players. And I think that's what Arteta will do. I think the only question I've got on Arteta is, was he ready for that, like, number one? I think there's no doubts that he's a great coach. And I think players will respect him. But it's whether he can just take that step up and whether he did need just someone there. But it was quite obvious to me as well. I think Pep missed him when he left City. So I think right at the start, I think he did miss him. I think he missed his advice. I think he had great relationships with players. I mean, no one ever knows, but from what you read and what you get told, it looked like he had a great relationship with pretty much everyone in the squad. I mean, he was a good footballer himself. He's been there, done it, played in other countries. So I think you do get that respect when you've been in the Premier League. But, mate, I think, you boys needed a change. But we always know when you make that change, it's like them lot down the road, the Rags. I mean, Wenger had, whatever you say about him, he'd been brilliant, hadn't he? Like, he revolutionised football in the country, not just at Arsenal. Then there's obviously the stadium move, which for a lot of clubs doesn't work. I don't think Arsenal are alone there. But again, Arsenal needed to move. So it's like, I get why people, you know, West Ham fans are great for it. Like, we shouldn't have moved, but they're never going to move forward. You need that revenue, you need that bigger stadium, because at the end of the day, it is a business element as well, not just for like us real fans. But I think, I mean, I think it's like you say, you're probably I'd say a realistic football fan, because you knew it's going to take transition, and we get a new manager, we win the league. Like it just doesn't work like that. I mean, the league's probably the most competitive it's ever been. Throw COVID in there as well with these crazy results and no fans, and that makes it difficult. And I actually think Arteta's starting to turn it around. I mean, what if, you know, these Arsenal fans, and I've heard a lot of them as well, mate, let's get rid of him, he's not good enough. Who do you get, and what are they going to do straight away? So it's a bit like, yeah, I don't get it sometimes. It's like we had City fans at the start of the season. Pep's got to go. All right then, get rid of Pep. Who'd you get? I mean, look at your neighbours there. I bet they wish they still had the old man back, yeah. Old Poche, because they're complaining about him. But what have they done? Got Maureen now. He's not going to do that with them.
You know, that's what's so frustrating for me, because obviously, you know, all I get told is he's an unexperienced manager. He shouldn't have come in learning on the job. We should have went out and got an experienced manager. But what I try and do is, you know, when I give my commentary or we're talking about Arsenal, I mean, of Diesel and Claude, the other two that are with us on the channel, I mean, they wanted Mourinho. And I couldn't understand it. I mean, I think to be honest, I think he's dead and buried. I think, you know, he's had his time. He's a fantastic manager. Don't get me wrong. What he's achieved beforehand is fantastic. But like I keep comparing it doesn't matter what he's achieved at other clubs if he's not achieving at your club. With Tottenham at the moment, what's he done for Tottenham? You know what I mean? And I mean, obviously, I've got a few Tottenham fans that are mates and that, and they didn't want him in the first place. And yet I can't understand, like, you know, they're only 2 points in front of us. With all that experience that he's got, Mourinho, they're only 2 points in front of us. Do you know what I mean? So what difference would it have made? Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand it, Ross.
No, exactly, mate. And bit of a blast for the past for you that when I knew you were coming on, but really game in my mind. 91 at Main Road. I think it was the first time I ever seen City beat Arsenal as a kid. Like, you had your yellow famous kit on, and Adrian Heath pushed Tony Adams over, like, because he was a bit of an ankle biter, wasn't he? But I think David White scored the winner. We won 1-0. But I think there's always been some like great memories for me in Arsenal City games. I mean, those 2 seasons when you were smashing us 4-0 after 12 minutes, or 15 minutes one year, and Carlo Nash said it'll never happen again. Then next year, it didn't happen again, Carlo, because it was 4-0 after 12 minutes. And you know, do you know what I mean? So I think this. I've always seen, like, at away games, City and Arsenal fans as well. So I think now with Arteta, it's sort of you know, I prefer Arsenal. Not tomorrow, obviously, but I'm not a massive Spurs fan. You know, I've never, you know, they're one of them clubs I don't really like anyone, really, to be honest. But there seems to have always been a good banter between Arsenal and City. And like I say, if you can keep pulling these young players from us and then getting them ready, then we can take them off here a few years later. Then that's gonna work.
I can't even argue with that, can I? That's the thing. I can't even argue with that.
Brilliant. Well, listen. On to good bit of a debate there. There's I don't know whether you're a City fan or whether he's an Arsenal fan and he don't like Arteta, but he doesn't seem to like him. But hey, you always get one or two. But it looks like the City fans are all right behind you, Terry. They say give him a chance. And looks like I mean, I think we'd take him back in a heartbeat. Alan, you want to say?
Yeah, I was just saying that. Giving Arteta a chance at management at Arsenal is a good thing. I think it's going to take time. It was never going to be an instant success. We'd have him back in a heartbeat. I'm sure Pep would, because he had more influence than some of the Arsenal fans were saying. He didn't just put the cones out, which I've heard Arsenal fans say. He had a lot of he did disagree with Pep on a lot of things and made a huge difference when he did. And Pep missed that at the start, because when Pep has his way, and I just think that Arteta, if you watch that City program on Amazon, you see Pep, you see him arguing with him about certain things. I think, you know, he's got more of an influence than you think, and he plays all right. He's learnt off a brilliant manager how to manage a team, and I just think it's going to take time. I just think there's more to it than meets the eye. Arsenal had a dead side, and it's going to take years to get rid of all those players and bring in players that he wants. And with COVID now, I think it's going to take another year extra, because no club's got any money now. Let's be honest. We've all lost money. So it's going to take time for it to happen. So the Arsenal fans have got to be patient. Football runs in cycles. In the early 2000s, when you had Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, and all these players, you were awesome. I was at that game that we lost 5-0 at Main Road. And I remember Richard Dunn lying sat on his arse a few times when Thierry went past him. And Keegan was arguing with him. And he's just got his arms out like this. What do I do? What do I do? When Thierry's running at you, there's not what you can do about it. You had that wonderful side for years and years and years. It comes in cycles. I think you've got a problem at the top of the tree in the club. I think if you can get the board stable and singing on the right way, I think you'll do all right. But I think Arteta's had a reasonable start. He couldn't expect the players he had to automatically just go top 4 and challenge for the title. There's no way that would have been possible. But I think he's going in the right direction. To win the FA Cup was a big thing for Arteta at the start. That's giving him some time. And I think they're going the right way. I think Claude's wrong in that. He's been impatient. It's like a lot of United fans. They're the same. They expect to win the league no matter who they've got. And it doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. No. You've no idea what suffering's about until you've gone down to Division 2 like we did. So
you're not wrong there.
Yeah.
Some feedback there. So listen, before we move on to the next question, Legan Sweet, thank you so much for that super chat, mate. Really do appreciate it. He thinks Man City to beat Arsenal 3-1. Next question, Terry. Who, if you can name me one or two of your standout players so far this season that we need to be careful of, that would be great, mate.
Sunday. Listen, I think it could be. It could come down to Saka against. It's just gone out of my head. Your young player. What's his name?
Foden.
It could be. A showdown between them two. I mean, Saka, to be fair, this season has been the shining light of our team at the moment, and it's really awful to say that because he's only 18, 19 years old, and he's kept this team going. He's had the team on his back and on his shoulders this season. If it weren't for Saka, a lot of these games, I don't think we would have won. And it's the young kids that have come through. I mean, this is what the problem's been at Arsenal. Is that really, we've got the Aubameyans, you've got your Lacazettes, you've got your David Luiz at the moment, even though I don't want him there. You know what I mean? You've got Xhaka, all these old players that, should have experience, should be the ones stepping up. But this season, it's been the youngsters that's stepped up and showing up these experienced players. That's just why we're so inconsistent as a club at the moment. And that's what it's been like at Arsenal for years. And Saka, for me, has been probably our player of the season. I mean, unfortunately, Martinelli is, he comes in, he has a good couple of games and he gets injured, unfortunately. Same as Tierney. Tierney has been absolutely fantastic at left back. I mean, he drives us forward. As soon as he gets the ball, he's like an old school left back. He gets up and down that wing and he just wants to go forward. So if Tierney's obviously fit, he's back. He come on a sub on Thursday night. So I'm hoping that if Partey's back and all, them three players, Partey, Saka and Tierney, I think will be the standout players for Man City to watch.
Chris, does that not show you what Terry's just said there? He's literally named all the young kids who were the ones who were shining under Arteta.
Yeah. Tierney's name I was waiting to crop up, actually, Terry, because he's the player I wanted City to buy when we bought Ben Mendy, because I've got a very good friend who's a Celtic fan, so I take a bit of an interest in them. He looks to me at Arsenal, I mean, hopefully these injuries are behind him now, but he looks like a future captain. What do you think?
We've been calling for it, me and Diesel in particular on our channel. I mean, we keep saying that he is our captain. Unfortunately, Aubameyang's not captain material. You need a leader. I mean, there's no two better players, that have captained Arsenal than Tony Adams and Patrick Vieira. Do you know what I mean? They're two outstanding captains that have been, an absolute hero figure at our club. And Tierney just coming in straight away. We called it straight away, me and Diesel, and said that he should be our captain without foul. I don't care if he's only been there for 2 minutes. The only problem with that, Chris, is at the moment he plays 3 or 4 games and then he's out for 2 or 3 games. So it's we just need. That's what the problem's been for me and all with Arsenal over the years, is that we seem to get these players. I mean, Partey was never injured apparently at Atletico Madrid. He's come to Arsenal and he's been injured twice in 6 months. So I don't know if it's the carpet at our training ground is not good enough and it's not like a pitch or what, or why we get injured all the time. But I mean, if you look at all our main players, Tierney, Martinelli, Saka, Smith Rowe, all these players seem to get injured after 3-4 games for us. So that consistency as a team, as a starting 11 all the time, I probably can only name you probably this season 2 or 3 times that they've all actually played together.
Right.
And that's what the problem. As well as obviously once they're injured and they can't come in the team, then we haven't got the squad or the players to come in and take their place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on, because we've only got you for a short period of time. Your lineup for Sunday. So I'll remove the guys out of here so that you can show what your lineup is going to be. So talk me through your lineup, Terry, for Sunday.
The lineup is I've got. This is hopefully everyone is fit enough. So if everyone's fit, Andy, which they should be, Partey is the only one that we don't know is going to be fit yet. But I want Leno in goal. I want Tierney left back. For me, I want Mari and Gabriel as our centre backs. If David Luiz plays, then you've got such a great chance of winning this game, because I mean, I'm not a big lover of him, and I understand why Arteta has, give him a contract and whatever, because obviously the experience, he's played in the Premiership for years and years, and to help the youngsters, I know that, do you know what I mean? But I don't want him in my team. The simple news is that. So I want Mari and Gabriel. I wouldn't even be bothered if Olding comes in for Mari. They can swap about. I'm not too bothered about that. And Cedric as my right back. Bellerin for me, he needs to be sold. He's been at our club now. He had 1 or 2 great seasons, but he's just not part of this Arsenal team for me anymore. Xhaka at the moment, same again. He's not a player who I want in my starting 11 going forward. But when Partey's come in, he's been fantastic for us with Partey. Partey seems to give him some confidence, and he takes a lot of the responsibility. Partey. So all Xhaka's got to do really is just sit there and help out the defence to mop up, if you know what I mean. So Xhaka played well, so I'd have Partey. I would rest Smith Rowe, because at the moment for me he looks a bit tired. He looks a bit leggy. So I'd have him on the bench, and I'll give Odegaard a game. He played well on Thursday night, and he looks a really good player too. So we haven't seen a lot of him, but everything that I've heard about him, he's got fantastic vision. He's so confident on the ball for a young player. So he's got every attribute to be a great player. And if we can get him from Real Madrid, I'd definitely go for him. And then I'd play Pepe on the left. I'd play Saka on the right, and Aubameyang up front.
Interesting lineup. Well, I can see your score prediction there is 2-1. You've gone for Arsenal. You've got to support your team, haven't you? You've got to.
To be honest, I think it could be 2-1 either way. If we can get this team out, and we play that team with Tierney and Cedric as our fullbacks, and we take David Luiz out and Partey's back, with Pepe and Saka giving us the pace on the wings. Aubameyang, obviously, he doesn't need it. Everyone knows that he's a great, prolific goal scorer. You know what I mean? Come Thursday night, he missed he could have had an hat-trick, but
yeah, he could have done.
He scored an hat-trick against Leeds. So, yeah, I mean, if we can play that team, then I'm quite confident that we can get something out of the game. But if David Luiz plays and Partey's not in there, then I think it will be 2 or 3-1 to use, to be honest, Andy.
Okay, well, I'm going to bring each one of the guests in with me and you, and they're going to give you a bit forewarning for the guys who might go, oh, what now? I'm going to ask them for their Man City lineup for Sunday. So out the 3 of you, put your hand up if you're ready. Look at that, man. They're all going. Chris is ready. He's born ready. Here you go. Chris, give me your Man City lineup for Terry for Sunday.
Let's give you some frightening stats first, Andy. Historically, this is a very tricky fixture for City. Only Liverpool have a better record against us. Played 202 times, and Arsenal have a 48.5% win ratio against us. But in recent times, City have dominated, winning the last 7 Premier League games. City won 9 of the last 10 meetings. Arsenal obviously winning last season's FA Cup semi-final. City's Premier League record at Arsenal in the last 10 seasons has been played 10, won 4, lost 3 and drawn 3, but we've won the last 3 there. Arsenal's last home win against us was December 2015.
Wow.
Arsenal's
15. God, that's,
Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Arsenal's recent Premier League form is 10 played, 6 won, 2 drawn and 2 lost, and they were to Villa and Wolves, both away, but in this month. And at home, they've played 5, won 3, and drawn 2, lost none. Last home loss 30th of December. So not a bad run at home.
Mm-hmm.
But City away, as we know, we're flying. Last 5 we've won, and those 5 we've won at Everton, Liverpool, and Chelsea. So we're doing all right against the big teams. Last time we dropped any points away from home was at the Swamp on the 12th of December. So we're on a 17 game winning streak, unbeaten in 24. I think it's going to be a tough night for Arsenal. So my lineup, this is what Pep will pick anyway. It's not necessarily my lineup. It's Ederson in goal, Cancelo, Diaz, and Stones. With Zinchenko. You writing this down?
Yeah, I always write your lineup. So it's always reference for later on.
Okay, so I'll do it in Eddie, Cancelo, Delicious, and Zinni.
Okay.
Rodri, Kevin, and Bernardo.
Yeah.
Sterling, Mahrez, and Gabby.
Interesting.
Just quickly, Chris, you forgot to say in them stats that the last 2 runs that you went on under Pep, I think was 15 and 14 games. The team that stopped that run was Arsenal.
I think that's Pep, so not City, wasn't it? It's at Bayern, I think that was.
Pep,
Yeah. Interesting. Give us your score prediction, Chris.
I think it's going to be 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 to us.
Okay, that's Chris's prediction. Right, I'm going to bring Alan in. So Alan, you can come in and we'll take Chris out. So Alan, give us your lineup and score prediction for Man City on Sunday.
I'm going to reverse that score that he's got. I'm going to go 2-1 City. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a very, very tight game. Arteta always seems to he'll be trying tomorrow. I think the Arsenal team are not playing that badly.
Just to remind you, it's tomorrow for him in Melbourne because it's already tomorrow for him. So that's the reason why it's tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to go Edison in net. I'm going to go Cancelo on the right hand side. I'm going to go Delicious in the middle of Diaz and Stones. If
you don't know what Delicious is, Terry, it's Stones and Diaz. They refer to the delicious combo. Yeah, that was Ross's idea. He'll say delicious as well. Yeah. And haircuts and cagoule and everything else. Go on, who's your left back?
It's going to be a tough one because they're going to have to face Saka. So I think I'm going to go Zinchenko. It'll be a tough game for him, that one, I think, because good player there, lad. Midfield, I'm going to go, obviously, Plodri. Yeah. As people call him, I call him Plodri. And I'm going to go KDB on the right-hand side of midfield. And I'm going to go, is Gundogan fit yet? Or don't? He's trained again.
He's only trained today. Today was the only. He has done some training today.
I want to play Bernardo next to him because he might be on the bench. And I'm going to go Foden on the left-hand side, Sterling on the right side, and Gabby down the middle.
Okay, interesting. You've gone 2-1. Fairly similar lineup to Chris's. Right, let's see what Ross thinks. So bring Ross in. Ross, what is your score prediction and your lineup for tomorrow?
I'm gonna go 2-0 City.
2-0
for the prediction.
Yeah.
Keeper, I'm gonna go Scott Carson. No, I'm only joking. Edison in net.
Yeah.
Obviously delicious. really upset that. But I suppose when Delicious don't play, then you get to use the Cagoule hashtag, because then the TV just shows stones in a Cagoule all through the match. So that's working pretty well. I've got a feeling, boys, that he might stick with Walker and Cancelo, and I think that's why he played Cancelo the other night, because I think he might want his pace for Saka. I thought he actually, in the last couple of games, defended better than he attacked, which is a switch for Cancelo from my point of view, which maybe is Pep again thinking ahead. If not, I think he'll play right back and it'll be Zinni, but I'm going with Walker and Cancelo because I thought he did all right. I'm going to go Rodri in the middle, Bernardo, and I think KDB will come back. And I think that's why he got the last 15 minutes or so the other night, because when KDB's fit, you got to play him, right? You just got to play him. And I also think he will have a new haircut in the game. So that's my prediction, because he was looking a bit long. I'm going to go Sterling.
On the right or left? Right.
I think Sterling and Foden will interchange.
I know they switch anyway, but Sterling on the right, Foden on the left.
Yeah, and I think they're two of the players who, again, for me at the moment, got to be on the team sheet. Just got to be in there. Just playing really great. And I actually think that this might be the game we see Aguero start.
Ooh, there's a shot. Interesting. He's played like 67 minutes since March.
Oh, was he? Well, yeah.
Somebody might say it's 97 minutes, or it's something like that. He's hardly played.
Yeah.
So right, okay. So that's Ross's. Thank you for that, mate. Mine, I'm going 3-1 City. I think it'll be a tough game, and I'm going exactly the same as Ross, but I'm not playing Aguero. I'm sticking with Gabby. That'd be my only change to the team. I don't know whether Gundogan will be quite fit enough. I know that he's still got another training session tomorrow, so he could quite easily be. But as it stands at the moment, probably stick with Roger, KDB, and Bernardo. If Gundogan's not fit, and I do agree, Foden on the left, Sterling on the right, and I think he'll stick with Gabby because of his energy and his runs. And if David Luiz does play, Gabby will have David Luiz running all over the place, and the amount of fouls that Gabby gets on him as a player. I mean, if Luiz keeps doing what he normally does, it'll be a red card, yellow card, red card, something like that, because Gabby will just be all over him. He's a pest. He's not an Aguero. He's not like a smart movement like Aguero, but he's a pest, and he will just constantly have him running all over the place. So that'd be my lineup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the guys back. And Terry, have you got some questions for us? That us and the guys can answer your questions before we've got about 10 minutes to go, if that's all right with you, Terry.
That's right.
And then you can shoot off, buddy. So what questions do you have for us?
First of all, is obviously it was going to be a big miss, David Silva, leaving Man City last year. Did you expect Gundogan to step up like he has? Because I think he's been phenomenal for you this season.
I'll just instantly say, did I expect where Gundogan was today when David Silva? No, absolutely never in a million years. But I'm so thankful he has. He's been superb. But I'll leave it to the guys to give them their thoughts. Chris?
Yeah, same as you, Andy. No, I didn't expect it. He has been absolutely fantastic, Terry. He's dragged us through this period, really. Well, I'll say dragged through. He's been the star performer through that, no doubt. He's always been a clever player, but this freedom he's had with Kevin being out, he's just gone on, scored so many goals, created so many chances. He's such an intelligent player, made a massive difference. But I did not expect it, because he, in all the time he has been at City, he's been plagued with injuries. He's played in positions that really. He's fitted into a team ethic rather than playing to his strengths, maybe in some respects. But yeah, he's done fantastic.
Ross?
Yeah, I mean, has he got it in him? I think we all would say he's got it in him. But I wasn't actually thinking it was going to be him who had to step up, I suppose would be my answer for Silva. I think where he's actually stepped up even more as the season's gone is when KDB went out. And I think, he's probably as well. So did I expect it not in the form? Did I think he had it in him? Yeah, because of he's got it. I think he's just been given the opportunity to play in a position and been given the freedom. So when a player gets everything they want in a great side like City, it's like, wow, this is amazing. And he's probably one of the first players, I would say, and obviously, guys, we have different coverage, but it is, I think, probably a lot of the same. So, ex-players like Ian Wright, Townsend, Sherwood, Lescott, they're on our coverage at the moment. Every one of the pundits all agrees that he's pushing for Player of the Year in the Premier League. He should have, but I never really heard that about Silva. It's quite strange, actually.
Yeah.
But every pundit on our side, I don't know what it's like with you guys, everyone's saying he's the best player in the league right now. If not, comment this week, Alan probably heard it, best midfielder in the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would say that, for what, no one replaces David Silva. Let's get that right. But what's happened is, because Gundogan had the COVID, he seemed to have lost weight when he came back. And Pep initially played him in this 2 CDM role. And I don't think that suits him at all. And since he's pushed him further forward, you've seen a huge change in his performance. That's more or less the position he played for Borussia Dortmund when he played for them in that good side that got to the Champions League final. And ever since he's played in that role, you've seen a huge difference in him because he's playing in the role that he likes, where he can push forward and have a go. He's not a David Silva that sits in the hole and turns people and sprays the ball around and just a genius. He's a different type of player. He's more dynamic box to box now, which we never saw before because, to be fair, he never played in that position. Yeah, Kevin's a better player to me when he plays further back in a more deeper role. He hasn't played there this year. He's been playing either as a false 9 or being pushed forward, De Bruyne. But I think if they play together tomorrow, I think you might see one will sit and one will go forward, and that's what the challenge will be, because they both like to go forward, no question. But he's been fantastic this season, Gundogan. He really has. He's stepped up as well when Kevin's not been there. But saying that, so's Bernardo as well. Bernardo's back to the form he showed a few years ago, and people don't really see that because he runs non-stop, and he's also playing well.
Okay, so there you go. That's on that question. Any others?
Another one. Obviously, the trophy that's eluding you is the Champions League. What do you think your team needs, or what do you think Pep needs to do to actually get there? I mean, obviously, I think this season is a good chance for you to do it because Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're struggling in their leagues. Obviously, you've still got Bayern Munich and a few of the others. But I mean, what is it? Do you think that is missing from Man City or Pep or your team that why you haven't got there yet?
Well, it's interesting because tonight, after we finish this preview, we're going on to talk about City and everything else as we normally do. And one of the questions is talking about why do you think City fans are not behind the Champions League, and should we be, and is it about time that we be, and things like that. But I mean, that's probably a slightly different topic, and I don't want to go into that now and spend keep going into the whole thing. I would say, I've always said it, and this is just my opinion on the Champions League. The Champions League for me has been massively downgraded and degraded since it's gone to this, 4 or 5 teams from each league can go into a competition. It's not the Champions League anymore. It's a cup competition. That's all it is. And with any cup competition, you need a bit of luck on the day. Real Madrid, apart from Real Madrid, maybe Barca, where they dominated for a couple of years, and Real Madrid winning 3 back-to-backs, which was amazing. You only have to look at the Liverpool Spurs final. I mean, neither team had won the Premier League title in 85 years combined. I mean, does that show you Champions League? You know, it's like, so I don't know. Bit of naivety from Pep in the past. Yeah, come to you you have to be really quick on this question because we need to move on because we're going to talk about the Champions League in one of our debates later on. But yeah, I think a little bit of luck for me and a little bit of, if we're going to win it, I think this season, the way we're playing with our defence at the moment, this is going to be the season because we're playing a different brand of football to the Centurion season. And I think we're a bit more solid. But go on, Alan.
Just a quick one. I'll not talk about the fans' point of view, but
No.
the biggest difference is our defence. We're now not conceding goals. And the biggest thing that I felt, the further you go into the Champions League, when you get to the knockout stages of, and it is a cup competition at the end of the day, it's not a league. When you get through to the better teams, you need to have a good defence. And I'll give you an example. Last year we played Lyon and Pep picked the wrong side and picked the wrong defensive unit, all because he knew our defence wasn't good enough without Laporte and without Vinny there, and he had a problem all season. But this season, since he's brought Diaz in and Stones has come back as well, it's a different kettle of fish. For the first time in a long, long time, our defence is good enough to win the Champions League. Before that, in all the years before that, the guys will back me up. I've always said we're not good enough at the back to win the Champions League because you have to stop goals going in. We've always scored goals. That's not an issue. It's the back. You got to stop. When you got to the final against Barca, you did it mainly because you didn't concede hardly any goals. You had the firepower up front. It was only because your goalkeeper got sent off in the first minute that you didn't win it, and that was unfortunate. But it is a cup competition at the end of the day.
Ross?
Yeah, I'm a bit similar to you, Andy. I always remember back before the money took over, and let's face it, that's what it is. The UEFA Cup was a great cup because it was those teams who had just missed out on the league in some occasions and then won a cup. So really strong teams dropping into the UEFA. And to your point, it was the champions. I mean, it's a bit of a mockery that, you can finish fourth or win the Champions League. So you can have teams like, Madrid weren't winning the league. Did they? I don't think they won the league every year, did they, when they won it 3 times?
No.
So for me, it's a little bit of obviously that's the way it is. It's money. But doing it has ruined the Europa League. No one likes that anymore. So if I had my way, I'd take it back to European Cup, UEFA and Cup winners. And I would have it that way.
And the problem being is that you're not going to get that because the talks are they want to add another 24 teams to the Champions League, and it's like, right, that's fine. Rename it something else. Don't call it the Champions League. Rename it a European club biscuit, whatever competition you want to. Don't name it the Champions League because it won't.
I mean, Andy, on that point, you'd be better off, wouldn't you, just having the league winners of Germany, Spain, Italy,
doing their own thing.
And just having them 4 teams every year have a little pre-season. I wouldn't even put France in it. So there you go.
Yeah, Chris.
I think Alan is right about the defence, but I think Pep's got to look at himself really in the Champions League. Terry, he made some pretty poor decisions against Lyon. Yeah. He did it against Spurs in the away leg at White Hart Lane. Why on earth we played so defensively against them, I don't know. But the Lyon game especially was I can't even, nobody, a City fan I know, can fathom what Pep was up to on that game. Yeah. So Pep's got to trust his style, his system, like he does in the Premier League, and do it in the Champions League. I think it is very difficult for any team in this era, in this COVID era, to you can see it all over Europe. But somehow City are managing to, and I think that's down to basically having such a big squad. We're lucky to have a really deep squad where we can pull players in and out of it and rest players. So I think we are lucky. But Pep just needs to trust in himself really and stop over-analysing it in the Champions League, and I think we'll be all right. I don't really care about it, if I'm honest about it. Honestly, mate.
I think you'll find that, Terry, with City fans, and we're going to have discussion later. It's one of the last things we're going to be discussing about later on tonight, or whatever time we get to that question. But Yeah, it's a strange one, but I think you've seen from all of us tonight. We do think this season is a bit different, and we've seen that, and of course we can't gauge it because it's not a true season per se. Because if we win it, all the opposition fans will say, "Oh yeah, but there's no fans there and things." And if Liverpool to win it, City fans would say the same. It is a bit of a weird season, but there's no disputing the way that we've suddenly transitioned into this new style of football, which is still attacking, but we are so solid at the back, just with one or two tweaks in it. Almost like a brand new Cagoule wearing centre-back that we paid 50-odd million quid for 5 years ago has now transitioned into what we wanted him to be, John Stones, who's been absolutely phenomenal. And then you're partnering with Diaz. So, I don't know. I still think there's an awful lot of luck in it for me. Any other final questions for us, guys?
No, I think that's it. I've got 3 quick things I'd like to just.
Yeah, sure. I'll bring the guys back on.
First thing is that Alex Johnson. I see your comment earlier on. Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate that. And I just want to say what a fantastic chat room you've got here, Andy and the boys. It's been absolutely brilliant. I've seen most of the comments. I just want to say thank you for welcoming me. It's been really welcoming. And guys, secondly, I'd like to say Andy and the boys do a great job over here. So please like all the videos, share it as much as you can, and get the channel going because it's an absolute brilliant channel. And thirdly, please, guys, whatever you do, even if you fuck up the Premiership this season, even if you fuck up the Championship, just please win the Carabao Cup and put that. If that's the only thing you do this season, I just want you to put the nail in his coffin for me.
Well, listen, Terry, absolutely brilliant. I mean, as you can see in the comments, everybody loves you. Top man Terry from Kurt. Charlie, thanks, Terry. Keep up the great work. And I think quite a lot of these guys follow you on Claude The Banstas. All the best, Terry. There you go. SOS says all the best, Terry. Leonard says we will, Terry. Well, there you go. Brilliant. Tyrone likes that. Adam Quinn said Tottenham are basically shit. There you go. So that's that. But everyone has absolutely give massive love for you tonight for coming on the channel. We really do appreciate it, mate. Any final words, Alan, for Terry?
Just want to tell you, thanks for coming on. I really enjoyed you having on, mate. A good banter, which is what it's all about. I've got a mate lives literally 500 metres from here called Leo, who's a huge Tottenham fan, and he's from North London, from Potter's Bar. And trust me, I never hear the last of it if they beat us in the League Cup final. So trust me, mate. We give him loads and loads of grief. The way he carries on, you would think Tottenham are the biggest club in the world. Honestly, nothing would please me more than to absolutely drill Spurs, and then to see his face, it'd be beautiful. Don't worry.
Thank you. Brilliant.
There you go, Ross.
Yeah, mate, Terry, great chatting with you, mate. Good luck apart from this weekend, mate, is all I can say for you. But looking forward to getting back down there and having a little pint in that crazy boozer with where they have the music on and your feet stick to the carpet. It's a proper like football ground boozer, which we lost most of ours. So I like going in there, the one near the tube. So hopefully see you around, mate, and have a pint with you.
Brilliant, definitely, yeah.
Chris?
Yeah, just thanks for Terry coming on. Got a bit of a, I wouldn't say love for Arsenal, but I do like Arsenal. I had a friend of mine who was a big fan. I lived down in just outside London. And so, yeah, always wanted to see them doing well. And when they were obviously spanking United, that was made it even better. And for me, that was some of the best football I've ever seen, that team. They were fantastic. So, yeah, good luck with the rest of the season. Hopefully it starts after tomorrow.
Andy, one quick one, which would have been bad for me to miss. Terry, one of your legends, Ray Parlour. I speak to him now and again, and he was sent me a video message for my wedding and that. So he's a good boy. So I've got a lot of time for Ray and another guy, all about the haircut. So there you go.
Brilliant. Only Ray Parlour. I love that. Only Ray Parlour.
Well, there you go. Listen, this is Man City TV, doing a preview with Terry from Claude The Banstas. I want to say a massive thank you again, Terry. It's always an absolute pleasure having you on because you're a top bloke, and I just hope that your YouTube channel and everything else that you do goes from strength to strength, mate. I really do.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And like I said, everyone, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's a fantastic channel, and these guys work really hard here.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate. If you want to go over, God, where have you been? If you're not following Claude The Banstas, it's in the description below this video. So you can go over the YouTube channel, and obviously the Twitter account for Terry is over there as well, and the channel. So Terry, all the best sort of for Sunday. I'm sure we'll probably have a bit of Twitter DMs depending on the score, but hopefully you're ignoring all of my banter to you on Sunday. But take care, buddy. All the best, and thank you for coming on.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Well, there you go, guys. That was Terry. Absolutely top bloke. A really, really genuinely nice guy. So whatever you do, please go over and follow him. And wishing Claude a speedy recovery. And I'm glad he's back now into some sort of semblance of decent health. But really, really nice bloke, and always a pleasure. And we chat quite a lot off channel, me and Terry, and I'm asking him bits and pieces about what do you do with this and how do you do that, and he's always sort of asking me bits and pieces. So he's a really, really top bloke. So go over.